Hi everyone, I'm Von Kevitz, knit and crochet designer for one-of-a-kind makers who dare to be original. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to come find me. Hopefully somebody joins to make it a little bit more fun. If not, I will go ahead with the topic at hand this week. Before we start, I just want to start with a prayer. Lord, thank you for this amazing hour that we're going to have today. For the beautiful women that come find these videos and join my YouTube channel and visit these videos. The topic today is heavy and simple in its most simplest form. But please give us the courage to express ourselves the way we feel in our hearts and give us the courage to be the vessel that you ask us to be so that we can do your great work. Amen. Okay. So I have been sick for a while. I've been waking up to migraines every day for like 3 weeks straight. And every day I would take medicine or do things, sleep in to try to alleviate the migraines. And it was getting worse. So then I made some doctor's visits. I did a lot of testing to see what's going on. The biggest things I've done was change my diet the last 2 weeks and made sleep my priority. So I napped a lot, I slept a lot, and I completely eliminated coffee. Not that the caffeine in coffee was bad or anything like that. I'm sure it wasn't like one way or another. It was my addiction to cream and sugar that was the deciding factor that made me just cut coffee from my habit. So I replaced it with tea, and that was the start of my journey. And I also vowed for the rest of this year, no more ice cream, which is crazy. And the reason why is because it's pure cream and sugar, and it's just not good for my digestive tract at all, which is like the playground for where all diseases happen is in our digestive tract. And so I finally just bit the bullet and got rid of those two elements. And because of that, I've been doing much better, much better. Not to mention exercise and sleep, lots of sleep. So, so I've been maintaining my stress level by just taking a pause on the VK side of things. So I took a week off of YouTube. I took a week off of Monday Morning Motivation. Sarah was grateful to sleep in, but she's like really excited for this Monday. And so am I, now that I'm fully rested and much, much better. So in last week, John and I got to watch finally the movie Unplanned. And the reason why we didn't see it in the theaters, I think it was because I'm not sure what was happening at the time, but I knew that my heart was not ready to watch Unplanned because I was, because of this subject at hand, I needed to be in a certain headspace so that I can digest what that movie was going to show me and what it was going to reveal to me. And I absolutely love it. Unplanned is the most powerful movie, I would say, of our time. Of our time. Um, at least in my lifetime. I'm 41 years old. I've watched a lot of movies. I'm confidently going to say that do not go through your life without watching Unplanned. Nobody, no human being should go through life without watching Unplanned. Good morning. Spiffy handmade. Um, can you tell me who you are? Because code names, YouTube code names, and names, I'm like drawing a blank. Is it Denise? Am I? Um, so yeah, so I watched Denise. Look at that. One for me. um, how are you? Did you see Unplanned yet? So John and I watched it finally last Sunday, and it was powerful. Powerful is probably the only word. And I have two key takeaways from that. I'm not gonna there's two key takeaways, and what I'm gonna discuss is just within the first 5 minutes of the movie, and then my other point. But I think it's the most powerful movie of my lifetime, and I think every human being should watch it once. Of course, there's an age. There's an age for young kids, age appropriate for to watch that. But once you think your child is can handle the topic, that child should watch it too, because they should not go through life without watching that movie one time. Because I think, and as soon as I watched it, I posted it in Instagram, and I don't want to botch my words because so I'm just gonna. So I haven't posted much. If you guys have wondered, it's just because I've been sick, but I'm doing much, much better now that I've fully rested and completely changed my diet. I completely cleaned up my diet, and so I will be in a better place. Oh, good. You good. Definitely have to. If it's not on your list, add it to your list. It's been on my list forever, and I finally got it, and I am like blown away by it. So I posted that I watched Unplanned just because I wanted to give it some height and just let everybody know that I finally watched it, because a lot of people had mentioned it to me after the Ravelry video, if I had seen Unplanned yet, and I wasn't ready to view it. But I wrote that slavery tarnished a race. Hey, Kathy. I wrote that this is my reaction to Unplanned. Slavery tarnished a race, and the Holocaust tarnished a nation. Abortion is the new slavery in the Holocaust. A century from now, society will look back at history and say, we allowed, in capital letters, allowed mothers to kill their own children. We funded it, we supported it, we embraced it, we encouraged it. And just like slavery and the Holocaust, we will ask regarding abortion, how did we let this happen? That's a century from now. Abortion is the new slavery and the Holocaust. It is the complete, I don't know what the English word is, but to the complete muting and destruction of an entity. Of they are the most innocent, voiceless that cannot speak. Within the first 5 minutes, and these are my two key takeaways from watching that movie. Within the first 5 minutes, what happens is the main lady in the story, who is a head of an abortion clinic. She was the youngest and the fastest rising because she was great at her job because she completely believed in women's rights and equality and women having the choice to do with what their body was, and she completely embraced it. So she got to the Abby Johnson. Thank you. So within the first 5 minutes, they called her in to help perform an abortion, and all she had to do was hold the monitors so that the doctor can abort the baby. And she had to do the sonogram. Is that the word? The sonogram. So she held the wand to look at the baby, and so all her job was to keep the wand on the womb so that the doctor can see what he was doing. And then it happens. So as the baby was getting sucked out of the womb, because that's how one of the ways they abort in that stage, baby's fully formed. It is a baby. There is a head, whole body, everything, legs, arms. As he's being sucked out from the abort, the baby is wiggling and fighting to stop what was happening with him, the destruction that was happening with him. And then gone. Because what can he do? What can he or she do? And that's it. Life over. So that was the first key takeaway. I'm thinking, so here I was, 2 weeks in and out of hospitals, running all kinds of tests, had to get drugged up. You know what I mean? Like, knowing that my diet and my poor decisions and my addiction to non-nutritious food was causing all these inner turmoil in my stomach, which is in turn giving me migraines, ruining my skin, like all these slow ways that my decisions are making. And I had to decide, I'm like, okay, I have to get rid of these bad food addictions that I have. And cream and sugar was the main one. And I've located to that because I am lactose intolerant, but I force myself to eat it because I love cream and I love sugar. I don't know what happened, where I went wrong in my ages, because as an Asian, we weren't big on desserts, but somehow I became addicted to sweets. And I gotta let this kid out. He's totally ruining my vibe. Give me a second. Come on, Indy, you coming? Liberty, come on, Liberty, coming. Come on, stay out here with him. There is nothing crazier. I swear, you guys are gonna have to time these lives as to when I can actually sit through one of these without them destroying my my feed here. But I'm like, with me trying to be calm and not emotional, and then I got a wailing dog in the background crying to go outside, and he was just out. He was just out before I went live, but he decided that he wanted to go back out. So I knew that I had to make all these decisions, so I'm like, and then I watched that movie, and I'm telling you, after watching Unplanned and watching that scene has made my decision to fight for my life so much easier. It has made me say no to all the tempting foods that came my way, and all I had was chicken broth and salads all week long and lots of tea, decaf tea. And I came home and I napped. I didn't let social media, I didn't let all my priorities or like stress get in my way. I just healed, and then I enjoyed some Frasier with the Hubs, watched, and then went to bed and got some good sleep. Woke up the next day, didn't need the coffee because I got a good night's sleep, because I just made sleep and a good diet my number one priority the past 2 weeks. And so come and visit me and I will cook for you. You just made a big pot of bone broth. Yeah, I'm working off that huge pot. We've been having it all week and it's been doing wonders. I've been already feeling so no more migraines that I'm waking up to. And if they are, they're slight and they're bouts and they kind of disappear as I drink and I dehydrate and do all that stuff. So I'm on a great path, but I've vowed for the rest of this year, if not for the rest of my life, definitely no more ice cream. I may or may not come back to coffee because when I drink coffee, I can always substitute with coconut milk and honey or something like so. That's not a big deal. The reason why I quickly substituted tea for coffee is because the reason why I drink coffee is my cream and sugar addiction. And then slowly I watered it down and I substituted it with uh, without the real cream and just the almond milk and the coconut milk, and it helped the situation. So when I gave that part up, it wasn't me giving up the caffeine per se. It was just me giving up the habit. I just didn't want the habit. So drinking tea was easier because it's got the herbal and the phytochemicals and all that good stuff that I can take into my body. But at the same time, when I drink tea, I have no need for cream and sugar. I don't drink cream, like, like how the Europeans put cream in their tea. I never did that. So that's the only reason I just and but watching that scene, this is my one takeaway. Watching that scene, even in their most innocent state, that infant was fighting for its life, fighting for its life. So if that monitor, that infant in the womb can fight for its life, then I sure better heck fight for my life. And I better do it, you know what I mean, with full power that he or she did. That was my number one takeaway. My number two takeaway from watching Unplanned was Abby Johnson. She aided in 22,000 abortions. She aided one way or another participated in 22,000 abortion because she was good at her job. That's how she became the youngest, leader in that clinic. Aided 22,000 abortions. And then when she saw that footage, changed her mind and realized what she had been doing was wrong the entire time, that she had been standing on the wrong side of history, and she quickly tried to correct it. And so I think when she tried to, by her turning over the new leaf, I think that, and it was courageous of her to stand in front of Planned Parenthood. That was, if I thought that me making that rivalry video was like David against Goliath, like what the heck, whatever she did, holy cracker jacks, that Goliath was 1,000 times the mother because she wasn't quite David. She was powerful herself. And I think because she was so powerful in her knowledge of what they were doing and every single procedure and every single, like, because she knew Planned Parenthood inside and out. She had the potential to destroy them. So the fastest way for them to shut her down, to mute her, was to shut down her clinic. So that if she was going to protest, she'd have to go a lot farther. But at least they shut down her clinic. And I think that's what happened. And so you take back and you think back, you're like, she aided in 22,000 abortions. We're always telling ourselves that we're not worthy. We're always telling ourselves that we've sinned so much. How can we be a voice for God? How can we're not worthy because how can we speak up for him? So we feel like we can't be his vessel. We're sinners. But the truth is, every single person in the Bible, every single person in the Bible that he used to be his vessel to do good, are mother sinners. There was a video, I don't know who, I don't know where, I came across it a long time ago, where this person listed all the characters in the Bible. David was an adulterer. We know Paul was a murderer. He killed Hebrews. He killed Hebrews. I mean, Paul wrote like what, fourth of the book, half of the Bible, fourth of the, excuse me, and he murdered Hebrews. He murdered them. He murdered Jews because, and he murdered Christians because they followed Jesus. And then you know his story. And then God used him as a vessel. Like, so, and this was just another proof. It was this, watching her story was just another proof that someone can be a part of something so evil, can turn around and do so much good for the Lord, so much good for the Lord, because she shut down one of the biggest Planned Parenthood um, places around. And so those are my two takeaways. Two takeaways that even at what, I don't know what that monitor was, what that sonogram was, how old that infant was before he was aborted. Was he 8 weeks? Was he a fully formed human being? Yeah, I love how they, we think it's an atrocity that they now they want to do full-term abortions where you can deliver the baby and then decide to abort it. Don't get me started. But even at whatever age that baby was, what, 2 months, 3 months, fully formed, and he was fighting for his life to live, just not successful at it. So if he can do that, then I know that I have to fight for my life to live, to fight for, so my small dietary changes is nothing to keep me a little alive a little longer, to try to do God's word, try to do God's work by spreading his word. So I've been trying all kinds of diets to get gut healthy. In February, I went keto and have never felt this healthy. Love the keto lifestyle. You know, Ellie from Senko Farms keeps pushing me to keto too. Is keto like Atkins? Is it like Atkins? I'm a big, I do love good fats. I know that I sugar is just bad for you because sugar is like heroin. That process, the powdered or the white sugar, that is just the worst. It's literally like cocaine. um, so I know that I have to eliminate the refined sugar and carbs. I'm not gluten, um, but I'm not like gluten deficient or whatever that thing is. Like, I can have gluten, but I think my problem is not taking in enough vegetables, fruits and vegetables, like natural whole foods. And so that's where I need to like really get better at. I'm a wings, like I said, I'm a wings and cheesecake kind of person. So there is no nutritional value whatsoever in that. And so what exactly is keto? Is it like Atkins where there's no wheat and like no carbs and all fat? Is it like that? Because the one thing I know, if keto is high in vegetables, then I'm all for trying it. But I'm a firm believer that I think I need a lot of green, red, orange, all kinds of fruits and vegetables. God's earth, God's earthly, bountifully food. But at the same time, I'm not vegetarian because I love meat. So I think protein and all kinds of stuff is. Gluten increases the glucose, so you want more. So you want more sugar. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And that's where I realized I'm like, I never thought that I had a sugar addiction like until I tried to stop. And then I realized, holy cracker jacks. And the reason why I singled out ice cream is because this summer I just went crazy with ice cream because it was just, we've just been going on a lot of car rides and we're stopping at big farms and we get like the really rich, yummy ice cream. I mean, I don't waste my time on like store bought ice cream. Like I go to the farms and I love the rich and creamy ice creams and the flavors. And so I think we were just I was just indulging in that just a little bit too much, and I paid for it because all of a sudden I was like 3 or 4 weeks waking up with migraines, going, "What the heck is wrong with me?" Keto is 20% lower carbs and 40% protein. And so 20% lower carbs is like your greens, right? Your vegetables, not your bread or anything, right? And then mainly protein and 40% fats. If you guys are, who is it that Ellie mentioned? She kept telling me to go and check out concentrate. So concentrates on green veggies and stay off the starch veggies, like the potatoes and all that stuff. Um, who was it that she told me? She kept telling me over and over again. But like all things, we ignore what we're not ready for until. I was just watching. Did you guys see Marie Forleo just released a new book, Everything is Figure Outable? Holy cow, that book is amazing. Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. It's just released this week. I'm listening to it right now. It is fantastic. The other book I did finish on Audible was Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin. That was amazing. That's actually what made me realize that the type of person I was is not. I am. I'm an obliger, which basically means I'm a people pleaser. I'm not an upholder, which I love to think that on my integrity I can show up for myself, and I don't know. I need people to reinforce it for me. I need people to hold me accountable, and then and then and then I want to please them by doing well, you know? So I'm an obliger. And once I realized that, I'm like, so that's why I say things out loud to you guys. I just basically want you guys to hold me accountable. When I say it out loud, then I know I'm like, oh, I said it. So I have to now at least give it my, all in it. Is it Ben? Dr. Ben something? Oh, here it is. I'm finally Dr. Ken Berry on YouTube. I guess he's really popular if you guys don't know him about keto, and she keeps referring me to him. So Dr. Ben Carey has great videos to help you understand. I love, but that was me. So from that book, I learned that I'm not. Another thing that I learned that is I'm an abstainer. I can't be wishy-washy about, I'm going to try a little bit of ice cream. I'm going to have ice cream like once a week, or I'm going to have ice cream once a month. I think I have to tell myself that I'm not going to have ice cream at all. I just don't eat ice cream. That is the new me. I think it's better for me to completely abstain from something, which is a theory I've never tried. Mind you, I've never tried this theory where you go all in. And one of the successes that I've had, like about 3 months ago, I vowed to my model and my hubby that I'm like, no matter what we do when we go out to eat, I'm always going to order a salad. I don't care where we go to eat anymore, because when I used to go out to eat, the first thing I would be is the most extravagant thing on the menu, because we go out to be served, right? We go out to be waited on. We go out because, so when I go out to eat, I always want things that I won't cook for myself because it takes too long or too hard or too extravagant to cook. So whenever I go out, I'm always like getting the richest and the craziest food, right? I'm not gonna go out and order a stinking salad because I can have a salad at home. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like in my head, this is how I used to always be. And so I would always order the richest, like craziest food because it wasn't something I was normally going to make at home. So now I had to flip my script and change my mindset so that I would. My model follows Dr. Axe. She's huge on Dr. Axe with the health gut. I did catch a couple of his webinars. And that's how we came across bone broth, the powder, and we would put it in our shakes. But now I just make a big pot of bone broth. I feel like that's better than processed. I'm trying to stay away from as much processed stuff as possible and just eating whole foods. And so the one of the things I learned to flip the script was no matter what happens when we go out, I'm always going to order a salad, be it side salad, be it a whole salad, but whatever it is, my main goal is to pick out the best salad on the menu, and then everything else can fall where they may. Once I flip that script where no matter what happens when I go out, I'm ordering salad, it has made my decision making process so much easier. And now when I think about going out to eat, which we go out every Friday when we go grocery shopping, I'm not thinking about ribs and all kinds of stuff. And I'm not saying the ribs is bad, but when you have nothing else nutritionally value in your food, like I just know that I'm really deficient in phytochemicals. I'm really, really deficient in green vegetables. I'm really, really deficient in that. And then to help combat my sugar addiction, I've been just focusing on fruits. And I'm going to try to definitely stay away from pastries and donuts and all that fun stuff, you know, which at work, I mean, we don't buy this at home. Like John's really clean eater. I'm not buying these things at home. So how do you think we're getting exposed to it's work. Work office parties are always throwing something. And then there's always donuts and cakes and all kinds of pastries and rugulas and then one or two here and there. And I don't realize it's just not good for me. And so now instead of saying it's okay to have one or two, I'm just going to tell myself I no longer eat that stuff. And it's been helping a lot because of that book telling me that I may be an abstainer. I may be better to go all in or all out of something because I can't teeter totter. Because when I teeter totter, it's like me in a trough. I will eat something till it's gone. Just like coffee. I used to drink coffee till the pot was empty. You know, if there's leftovers in the refrigerator, I'm dreaming about it until it's gone. We'll go to a restaurant, we'll order everything under the sun, we'll eat it till our stomachs are exploding. We come home, my husband is done for the day, and me, I just need a 30-minute turnaround, and I'm back in that fridge getting all the leftovers. It's nuts. It's all psychological. It's crazy because that is the one thing. I don't drink, I don't smoke. Satan has me on food. He has me on my food addiction. And if anybody knows anything, if you have a drug addiction, you abstain from the drug. If you have an alcohol addiction, you abstain from the alcohol. If you stay away from bars. But if you have a food addiction, you can't stay away from food. And this is where I've been battling with food my whole life because I can't leave food. I have to still play around with food, you know. I only eat berries. Good morning, Lenny. I only eat berries I don't eat too much fruit. Lots of good fatty meats and green veggies. I eat no processed foods. See that? If that's keto, that I can go with. That I can totally go with. Lenny, you're addicted to food. I don't know many people that aren't. Actually, my husband is not addicted to food. See, he eats to live, and I'm the other person where I live to eat. There's only two types of people in the world. One eats to live, and the other lives to eat. And I unfortunately fall in the latter, and this is where my struggles has been my whole life. And you intermittently fast too. I only eat between noon and 6 p.m. And how has that been working for you? That's awesome. I've I do the same thing, but my start time is my first break at work is 9:30, so that turns out to be my breakfast, and that's when I like if I if I'm at work and I hit 9:30 mark, my stomach is grumbling and it needs food. So I somewhat do an intermittent fasting also, and then I stop eating after 6 too. For the longest time, my husband and I stopped eating after 6, and we loved that. Love that. Sugars and sugar makes you crave more food. Yes, and that's why I'm eliminating sugar. That was, and the reason why I paired the whole. I knew I had to give up sugar because I knew it was bad for me, but I paired it with cream because I'm lactose intolerant and dairy is not good for me at all. So that's yeah, I can totally get on board with that if that's keto. Oh, I just tried a new tea. It's nasty. But like all things in the first try, it's always nasty, right? Because you're changing your taste buds. It's well equated to learning a new skill. If you get on a horse, you're terrified, and then you fall, and then you get back up. If you pick up a crochet hook and you don't know what you're doing, your fingers are all fumbly, and you're like, "This is so hard, throw it away." That was my first sip of this new tea that I just drank. But like all things, I had Tulsi tea. Have you guys ever heard of Tulsi tea? It's one of the really, really good ones. Dr. Axe recommends Tulsi tea. And in it, one of the flavors is a liver and liver cleanse, it's called. It is nasty. It is the most bitterest tea ever known to mankind. And I had it yesterday and the day before because I had it sitting around, and it's always my last choice. And like I said, I have a lot of teas, but I don't really drink it. But now I'm cleaning out all my teas because I'm not drinking coffee anymore. So I drank that, and I was like, oh my God, this is the nastiest thing. But I'll tell you one thing, by the time you're done, you've completely reset your taste buds. Now anything you put in your mouth, you take a celery and you're like, ooh, there's a sweetness to the celery. You eat a carrot, I'm like, oh, there's a sweetness. It's like after having that tea, carrot is like a fruit. And that's what I'm trying to do with my senses. I'm trying to flood it and clean it out the best way. Chris Carr is a cancer survivor. If you guys don't know her, she's a vegetarian. So she's basically she doesn't eat any animal products, but she's all fruits and vegetables and quinoa and all that stuff. So I followed her plan for a little bit, but the only reason why I followed it, not to get rid of meat, it was just to infuse more veggies, more fruits and vegetables into my diet to get phytochemicals in my system. So I took her course to learn. It was crazy sexy living or something. I can't. She's known for crazy sexy cancer. She's got like multiple tumors in her body and has had them forever, but has managed to stop their growth and has maintained it by her healthy living of eating fruits and veggies and lots of green juice and lots of juicing. Do you guys juice and green juice? I used last summer when I got better, when my body was really, really bad. I had psoriasis all over my body. It was horrible. And so one of the things I finally had to decide to do was take the Humira shot and then clean out my system. And so I was juicing for the summer, juicing and green juice for all summer, and it did so good for my body. Like, I felt so good, and my skin cleared right up. It was crazy, which it could have been a combination of the Humira, but I don't think Humira would have been as successful had I not changed my diet drastically. Even the doctors were like, whoa, I didn't realize this medicine was so good. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Your medicine aided in my process, but it was definitely me changing my diet completely. Carrots and starchy vegetables you don't eat. So you're all like green leaf. 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, grass-fed butter in my coffee keeps your stomach lined with healthy fats so you won't be hungry. It's a good tip. I used to put coconut oil in my coffee, but never the grass-fed butter. Is that the ghee? Everybody keeps telling me to go get ghee and put in my coffee. I'm like, if I get crazy enough that I crave caffeine again, I'm gonna like coffee again. The problem with me in coffee is I associate coffee with cream and sugar. I drink coffee flavored milk is what I like to joke. So that's the only reason why I'm gonna try to stay away from coffee for a long time until I become an avid tea drinker. Then I might dabble in, I might enjoy a cup of coffee with a friend somewhere. But as far as home life, I'm going to be 100% herbal tea all the way until I get it in I don't like the flavor of ghee in my coffee. That's what I'm nervous about that too. To me, I'm not addicted to coffee enough that I that I would try that just yet. I've learned that quickly this week, was that giving up coffee wasn't so hard. The fight is giving up the cream and sugar in my mouth. That's the fight. And you want to know so funny? So I ran out of something and had to go to the local grocery store sometime in the middle of the week, which is a rarity, but I did. And so I went and I walked up and down. I can't believe I'm admitting this on YouTube, but you guys are friends. You're like my close girlfriends on the internet for the public to see. I walked up and down that grocery store in the dairy aisle, like dreaming. Not the ice cream aisle, not the baked good aisle. I spent 20 minutes walking up this one aisle of the dairy section, looking at the sour cream and the cream cheese and the butter, and then trying to find if there was like any substitutes. It's not my local grocery, like my other grocery store that I go with my model. It's a health food, like it has a lot more healthier options, so they have all those substitutes, like the cheese substitutes, uh so so I was desperate. I was craving cream and sugar so badly that I'm walking up and down this dairy aisle drooling at all the possibilities. I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? Maybe I can just get a little pint of the cottage cheese with the pineapple. Can I make that as my dessert? And I'm like, no, it's not and I hate cottage cheese. Like, if I'm gonna do cream, I'm cottage cheese is the last thing I'm thinking about as cream. But I was desperate and I was drooling over this cottage cheese and pineapple as a dessert just to get my cream and sugar fix. Like, that's crazy. That's how I knew I was really addicted to this stuff. Like, and I just sat there and I just stood there and I just kind of like debated. I'm like, oh, that would be so good. I'm like, and then I played with it in my head. I'm like, no, you don't even like cottage cheese. It's nasty. I mean, if you're going to have a dairy, that's not your dairy of choice. So why would I cheat it, on that? But you won't be with the butter and the coconut oil. Oh, ghee is very good. Also, so you're saying that if Kathy paired it with the coconut oil, she might not taste the ghee as much? Or actually, heavy cream has less lactose and is better for you than half and half. Oh, good, because I can chug heavy cream like nobody's business. I remember when I was a kid, people like, it's funny because I started dating John and he was lactose intolerant. So he was at one point, well, he would drink gallons of milk and then he changed to lactate. And we found out that lactate wasn't good for you. And now we're on almond milk. And that seems to be okay with his digestive system. But I remember I'm like, oh my God, I can't use skim milk. And I was like, I'm past whole milk isn't even like, whole milk is even watered down for me. I would like, I would, if I could in my dream world, I could have cereal with half and half. And that would be like the ultimate cereal, full of cereal. That was when I was little. Oh my gosh, I guess this addiction runs deep, deep in my DNA. Start listening to Donna Swank podcast, Cultured Food Life. She teaches you how to make kefir cheese. Oh, I actually am listening. That's a good reference. Thank you for that. I will write her down. I'm trying to find different people. I think this is my problem is of not knowing is we're ignorant because we're uneducated in the topics that we're ignorant and uneducated about. And it's a cycle, right? I've left the dogs out there forever. Indy better not be digging on me because that will start off our day very bad. The kid thinks he's going to China. And we figured out why he's digging too. I think it's because now the squirrels are starting to hide because we're Northeast PA. There's lots of squirrels up here. The squirrels are starting to hide the chestnuts, and I think Indy's onto them. So as soon as he watches them, and then he sees where they're digging, he can smell them, and then he goes after their chestnuts. And I think that's why he's digging in our yard. He was fine all summer, and now I just watched him dig yesterday. I'm like, I'll bet you the squirrels are starting to hide for the winter, and this kid is beating them to it because he's a menace to society. So where was I at? I'm going to write down Donna Swank podcast so I can check her out. Yeah, so I'm just trying to learn different things. So another great thing that was happening in the last, so you guys know, I wanted to touch on this part. We'll do it for the last 5 minutes. So Rachel Hollis is doing something that I think she does every year, which I didn't know that. I just got exposed to her this year. I read both of her books, Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. She and her husband do this thing called the last 90 days, and you just get on their mailing list, and they basically I'm assuming I've watched a couple of her past YouTube videos regarding the last 90 days, and I didn't know what it was. And basically it's just this thing where they just help you stay fired up and focused to go all in on yourself for the last 90 days. That's October, November, and December, right? The fourth quarter. And so to basically, if you have a goal, if you have a health thing, if you have a work thing, if you have an entrepreneur, if you have a dream, pursue it in these last 90 days, right? So that when you start off the new year, you start off with the new year on the 20th floor instead of the basement. And I was like, holy cracker jacks. So for 41 years, I have lived my life saying, I'm going to start my New Year's resolution, and this year's a wash. I would always say, this year's a wash. After June, so the second half of the year, I'm like, it's a wash. We'll start it next year. So don't we always tell ourselves, because, as a procrastinator for life, we're always telling ourselves, oh, at the new year, we'll have a clean living, clean health, clean everything, clean mind. We're going to pursue our big dreams at the beginning of the new year, right? And then we start our New Year's resolution. And then what happens in that, which is every year, we fail at it because we're starting because you go at it with this energy and then it fizzes out, right? So I'm watching her and I'm like, so instead of relaxing and chilling the last 3 months, the last 90 days, that's their coin phrase. Instead of chilling the last 90 days, they go all in on themselves and they motivate and help people and fire people up to go all in on themselves the last 90 days. And I just thought, so that you start the new year on a higher playing field. So you're already like, you're not like, you're already your best version. You're already pursuing your best version after Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all the crazy health stuff where we're exposed to so much goodies, and October with Halloween, where we're exposed to all these like um, goodies that we find ourselves trying to fight against, right? So I was like, that is awesome to flip the script and pursue harder in the last 90 days than in the beginning of the year. And I'm like, I'm all in. So that's what I decided to do. And that's why I figured I wanted to open up that Handmade Creative Mastermind. And someone did sign up and someone did join. So it's going to be a one-on-one because she was the only one. And so me and her are going to go all in these last 90 days. So I'm just prepping now these next 2 weeks of September. And then come October, November, December, I'm going in harder than ever pursuing my dreams because I have a huge, huge dream that has fallen on my heart for 2020. And it's major. And I've been fighting it for the longest time. I've been fighting this dream for the longest time. And then when I put out that Ravelry video, I had so many people message me about getting my parents' story out, writing that story. And I was like, because there is a book inside of me, and it's been inside of me for a decade now. Where do you sign up? For the last 90 days, um, look up Rachel Hollis or Ms. Rachel Hollis on Instagram. You can find out, or hollis.com. Look up Rachel Hollis. You'll be able to find her Instagram page, and then she's got their sign up sheets all over for the last 90 days. Or even check out the hashtag on Instagram, last 90 days, and see what comes up, and you'll be able to find Rachel Hollis. Oh, my thing is for the Handmade Creative Mastermind. It is $100 this for, I just want to tell you offhand, it's $100 for the next 3 months. And so it's $100. And the person that signed up with me is just making 3 payments of $35. And the reason why I even asked for that is because you pay attention to what you pay for. So I could offer this mastermind free for you, but people who do it for free never participate. They always fizz out, and we're going all in. So that's the only reason. So that's the caveat. So if you're still interested, DM me, Lenny, and I will be happy to get you on board, because the more people, the better, on this journey. And what I do is, if you want to sell handmade, if you want to sell your handmade, that's my specialty. If you want to sell your handmade online, I'm there to help you. I'm even here to help you if you want to make a change in your life and you want to invest. What this is it's just a mastermind, a group where we show up for ourselves and we help each other to attain a better version of ourselves. And so that's what that is. So if you're interested, DM me, and we'll get you back. We'll get you in the Handmade Creative Mastermind. But if not, definitely check out Rachel Hollis's The Last 90 Days, just to keep you motivated. And the point of me sharing this story is I just want you guys to know that this fourth quarter, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. So let's just get all fired up and give it our best version in these, finished off the year on a really high note, on a really good, because what's great about pursuing your best version during October, during, candy season, during November, during Thanksgiving with all the food, like when you're pursuing your best versions, you get to stay on target, and you get to stay focused, and you don't get to like relax and let yourself go. People tend to like let themselves go in the last 90 days of the year, and they wait for the new year to be the better version, you know? And we're like, why would you wait for the new year to be a better version? I've been doing it for four decades, and I'm like, it's not working. So when I got exposed to this, I'm like, I'm going all in. These, I've been steady this whole year of pursuing, and that's where like these videos, and now here I am on YouTube every week showing up, minus last week when I was really, really sick. Which I could have done, but I didn't want to push. And that was the thing. I'm not at the age stage where I'm pushing anymore in that way. So showing up, meaning, meaning taking care of ourselves, and then doing things smart. Like I've been doing this, and I've been educated in this arena for a while. I'm also a great motivator because I can see, I think that my gift has always been, I can see people very well and help people. I've always been in tune to other people's. My problem was not being in tune to my own needs. I've always been attuned to other people's needs and been able to give them roadmaps and help motivate people. But for myself, it was a harder struggle. And so when I'm on this journey to motivate myself, that's when I realized, let me turn on the camera and show people what it looks like so that they can motivate themselves. And if I'm on this journey fighting, that's why I always share it, because I know that I'm not the only one struggling, you know. And so that was a good week. So this is so we're turning a new leaf. So my 2 key takeaways from Unplanned. Just want to recap this video. So if you guys haven't watched the movie, you have to watch it. Everybody on this planet Earth needs to watch Unplanned. Everybody on planet Earth needs to watch Unplanned one time. Whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, you should watch it. You know what I mean? Because knowledge is power. And so my 2 key takeaways was, even at the earliest stage of life, when that baby was about to be aborted, he or she was fighting for his life to stay alive. You saw it. He wiggled, he moved, and he fought his best before he was aborted. So if an infant at the earliest stages of life knows to protect himself or try to protect himself so that he can live, then I better do my best to do everything I can to protect my body so that I can live the best way that I can. So that was my first takeaway. My second takeaway was Abby Johnson aided in 22,000 abortions and then changed her mind and saw what she did was wrong, and she did something about it. You know what I mean? The courage to stand up against that Goliath and shut down a plant that was continually murdering innocent life. Amazing. God is so good, and God is so good in what he does and the people that he uses as his instrument. You know, I'm on here fighting for you guys to be creative every day, to use your God-given abilities to create, because we are all creators. So this YouTube channel is for creators to stay creative, to keep creating. And depending on what my stage in life that I'm going through, that I'm battling with, that keeps me from creating, I'm just sharing it. So it doesn't always look like tutorial videos. It doesn't always look like, knit and crochet stuff. Sometimes it's harder stuff, but that's what I've been put on this earth to do. I know that's my calling. My calling is to push people to create, because I'm a talented and highly skilled person, because God gave me all these gifts that I know are inside of me, that I let Satan and the enemy do tell me these lies, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not smart enough, that I'm not pretty enough, that I'm not fast enough, that I'm not, all these lies that we shared on the past video. You can go back and look at them. All these lies that he would tell me to keep me from pursuing my dreams, pursuing this creative journey that I want to be on, that God has put in my heart. So 2020, I'm going to devote 2020 to writing that book that I've had in me, that story that I've had in me about my parents escaping our communist country and bringing us to America. But I'm going to, the reason why I think I've been pushing it off for so long is, first of all, I didn't learn about it till like right before my dad passed. I didn't learn about it till about like, so my dad has been gone for approaching 5 years. So I would say I learned about it 6 or 7 years ago, that we were actually in a refugee camp. I never knew we were in a refugee camp for 4 years. I never knew. I always knew that my daddy hated, not that he hated, he didn't like the country that he was from. He risked our lives to come to America, and he loved America. That I always knew. I always knew that wherever we were, it was not good. Daddy wasn't going to go back. We're here. We're going to make the best of it. This is the best opportunity. This is the best country ever. That was all I knew growing up. So we made the best of it. We went, they gave us, they worked 2 jobs, both worked 2 jobs, worked overtime just so that it could pay for our education, so that we have good education growing up, so that we would be, you know what I mean, have the best life that we could here. That's all I knew. About 6 or 7 years ago is when I found out that we escaped a communist country, and then we were refugees for 4 years, I think in the Philippines, waiting to come to America. Crazy. So the story is crazy. The story is crazy. But I've been wanting to write that book for a long time, and I've been scared. I've been scared of the topic at hand. I've been scared to find out what really happened, what it really took to get us to here. I've been scared to know the truth. And so before my dad passed, I took a whole bunch of notes. I had the intention to do it, and then I just kind of stopped, and then he passed, and then I really stopped, and it wasn't until I shared my story on Ravelry that everybody's like, you need to write that story. You need to get that book out. And reading this new book from Marie Forleo with Everything is Figure Outable, and it took her like 20 years to get her second book out, and watching how she got this book out and figuring it out. And I'm like, this is the year, this is my time. I don't believe in coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. So I feel like these things are put in front of me, I just pay attention to. And then I just know that this is the year to do it. So I'm going to go all in on these last 90 days, get my health in order, finish up Phoebe and Mary, maybe get something else in. I'm working on a sweater that I'm finally going to make my own sweater. I will be wearing my own sweater for the first time this year, which is amazing, and I'm super excited. It's taking me longer than I thought it would be because I have to keep ripping it out. I keep frogging it because I want it to be perfect. I don't want to just make something to make something, because I want to wear it. I want to be wearing it all the time, and I want to be proud of it. So everything I would make it would be like 5 hours and be like, oh, I don't like it. Rip. Let me do another. And I'm just like, it's insane. But I will have it done this year. And then I'm going to mentor and help mastermind with a new handmade creative that wants to start this journey, that I'm so excited to be working with her to help her get started on the right path. So in 2020, she's going to kill it. She's going to kill it. You know what I mean? And the best part about it is I get to aid in that. The only reason why I asked for that fee, which is really little considering it's 3 months of one-on-one coaching, and giving her all the knowledge that I have, all the education that I have in this field to help her, is because you just, if you work with a mentor, you've basically cut through all the noise and you're just doing the steps that are effective. So, and like I said, if you don't have that, and you can, knowledge is power. So knowledge is only powerful. What was the latest quote that we heard? I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Knowledge is not power. It's only, knowledge is power only if you engage, only if you take action in that knowledge. So yes, that's a God event story. What, my parents' story, or what I'm living right now, or unplanned. That's a God event story right there. All right, guys. Until next week. I hope you join me. Thank you. I opened all the windows hoping that the sun would come out, and it looks like it's going to be a dingy, dreary day all day. But that's okay, because that means I get to stay in and craft all day after I get my cleaning done. And then maybe nap, because I'm a big fan of napping. Um, and then on Monday morning, 6 a.m., we are live for Monday Morning Motivation. That's to show you what 6 a.m. looks like for people who are pursuing their best versions. So join us for that. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I hope you guys have an amazing week. And I hope you guys show up for yourselves in the best way. And God bless, guys. Bye.